Welcome to the Artifact YouTube channel. Today, we're excited to share a masterclass by one of the most talented watercolor artists in the world. Please welcome Ze Ze Lai.
Okay, so I think I will put the flowers first. Now you can see the paint is not splattering too much. It's there, here, like here, maybe some here. Just the little shape here. Okay, so we will put the background here from maybe here. It's a little wet, but never mind. It's still okay. You can see some definite shape here. Sometimes you control the color. You can also control how you press your brush. Sometimes I press very hard and it is very dark. Sometimes I use it more gentle, then it is lighter in color. So this part, I think I will leave it more white. More white here. So around the bird, you will have very careful because you have to leave the shape of the bird here. So if it is too wet, then the paint will run into the bird. So that's why you have to wait for the snow shines. No, the water is already dry on the surface. Not any shiny. So you will be careful, and then you see you can make the definite shape of the bird here around her, and it is still soft. Like that. Okay, so this is the first wash, and after that maybe I want to put more pink on it combined with the background. Oh, so that it will have better look, because it's not just one color and the other color. So I have to blend the color of the flower with the background, because it might have some reflection of the color, on the background. I use very light, strokes, not pressing much on the brush. Later, the flowers, the shape, we can just leave the color, leave the paint so that you can see the shape of the flowers. So now this is using the second color on the, make it more blending together with the flowers. So you can see some strokes here, some strokes line here. If it is too wet, you cannot have this kind of stroke. So I think this is too bright here, then I just wash it first. Maybe use the brush to, slightly, very gentle, and then pull the paint over the white areas. Pull the paint over the white areas, so it will be better. like that.
I hope you're enjoying this watercolor lesson. On our channel, we always share watercolor lessons from the world's top artists. And today, we have something special for you. Follow the link in the video description and sign up for a free online masterclass with another global watercolor star.
So at this stage, we can maybe add the branches. So at the branches, I can use the shape here again. This is the boundaries. This is very simple. This is still wet. A little. You can also add the fruit color, the sphere. Maybe I want some sepia here also. Then use this. It depends. Okay. So we will wait for the paper to dry a little bit first before I lift the color to make the shape of the flowers. So at this stage, maybe I combine also using to erase some circular shape. I try to do this so that you will know how the two methods of making the circular shape. Maybe here I can use here, maybe use the circle shape here. Yeah. Shape here. Mm-hmm. Make it more natural. You can slightly, pull the colors into the circle, then it will be more soft. I want to make it more like circular here. Yeah. This is more round here. Okay. So it's better like that. The two is different. Using different method, but also you can achieve those effects. Maybe this one is using when you want to draw bigger circles, you can just use the brush, to draw a circle. But this one you can lift the color. It's different type. Okay, so I'm using this kind of brush to lift the color for the flowers. Just simple flowers, maybe just a little petal here. So you can see it's very clear, very easy to lift the color because the timing is very important, whether it is not dry, but it is not shiny anymore. So it is easy to take away the colors like this one. Any kind of shape, you can use brush like to draw. And also maybe you can put some paint on it. And we have not just even white. after that, I also make it more natural. So, okay. So here's what I combine using the first method, and the other one is by lifting the color, taking off the color. The first one is just by the brush, painting several layers to make the lighter part to create the background. And after it's a little bit dry, then we can work on the bird. But I think today I'm not gonna work because this is more, uh, not I mean, you can find it out in my lesson how to work on the bird because this is in a later stage. So the main, I think the main process I want the student to know is to create a background. It's very important for the whole atmosphere you want to express yourself. How is it to create this kind of feeling on your painting? So this is a very, I think it is a simplified method compared to my painting because my painting may need work on several layers because this is a very simple demonstration of how it is look like, but you will have a, I think, an understanding of how it is created. So it is very wet. So you see, when it is very wet, I put on the paint, and you will see the water spreading very quickly. Like here, it's slowly spreading here. Because the paper is very wet. The paper here is very wet, so the color will spread very quickly. That you cannot form a very defined edges here. What I paint on my do with my painting is that I need quite a definite edge of each of the stroke, but not hard. I need the soft edges, but it's more definite. Not like this, but maybe some style you need to have this kind of style effect. But in the background of my painting, I want to be more definite. So this part, the paint is put on where the paper is very wet. So we'll wait for a moment. Here is still wet, so I want it to dry up more quickly. Then I use my brush. Actually, I want to absorb the water on the paper. Now here is not so wet than the other. I think I will add more little paint here. So it's not as wet as this one. So when I put on this one, it is like a more definite. I think the lines, it is also spreading, but this is not as definite as this one. You can see there's a shape here, more definite. So when this is the middle one, okay? When you come to more time for the paper to dry, you can have more definite shape of the. So we wait for a while, because actually you have to wait for maybe 5 minutes, but due to this demonstration, I want to do it quickly so I make it use the paper to dry up. Actually, you don't have to do this, but I just want to demonstrate for you. Now I think this is more dry. Now this dry, you can see it's dry already, the paper. So at this time, you see the paint is not spreading like this one or this one. So this is more definite shape. But still, this is wet because it is not dry. If it is dry, then you will not have the soft edges. So there's 3 kinds of stages. I am this is very important. I mean, which one to use as the background. And mostly in all of my painting, I will use the second and the third one. And in very last time, I use this one because the background, I need the more definite shape overall the background. As I can take an example for you. We look at this one now, maybe. This one you see, there's a line here. So this is also wet on wet. So you can imagine that I put the paint like on the third stage or maybe more than the second one, maybe let it more dry. So I will have this line here rather than this one, you know. So this one is putting the paint earlier than this one. So it's gonna be different. The wetness of the paper is different. So how to create this kind of things, you know, so you're gonna control the wetness of the paper. That is, you have to know what is the time to put on the paint. So now you can see this is a free stage. This is a rough paper that makes a little dot. Actually, I don't spray any water on it, but the surface of the paper is like that. This is rough surface, so it's gonna create some kind of texture on it. Maybe later I will use the other texture, maybe the cold press, it will be different. So we will leave it first. Okay. So after this, you might know this is the time to control where you put the paint on it. So how to create a shape like this? Maybe I have some did before the lesson. So now this one, this is just the same as the other one. Like, because this is the paper is cold pressed, so it is very different, you know, from this one. This is, you can see there's a like texture on it. So whatever you like the style, this is the more like look like more smooth because it is cold pressed paper. And also this is the first stage, very wet, the paper. And the second stage is slightly dry, maybe wait for 2 to 3 minutes. And this one maybe wait after 5 minutes, but it depends on the weather, depends on the humidity of the day also. But there are 3 kinds. So in my painting, I have created this one. Like in my other painting style, you can see I have some definite edges here. This way I create the lights and shadow, or like the bouquet. I think many of you have seen some round shape circles, and later I will talk about how to create those one. But this is also important, not using any instrument, any tools to help you. Just by the brush, you can make those shapes just look like those lights, looks like those bouquets, but just like the shape is a little bit different. So this one is like also different times of putting the paint. You can create those strokes here. So this is one of them. And I think, yeah, this one I also create like this. In my painting also have this kind of lights and shadows. The shape are here, some definite shapes of edges here. Yeah. So we will try this now, so you can see how the process is. So I will use maybe I will use cold press paper. Cold press paper. Yeah. Okay, this one. So I'm gonna try on how I paint those like those shape around, and I will use another color. Maybe I'm using the ultramarine blue. First of all, I have to mix first. Just a little water. Don't add so much water. If you want the background to be more rich in color, you don't have to put so much water. Just a little. No. Okay. So after that, I wet the paper. First wet the paper. And both sides, on the front side and the back side, also wetting both paper. Okay. So now this is very wet. How to determine it is wet or dry? You can see actually the paper, the water. If it is very wet, you can see the reflections on it. It's just like shiny on the paper, and after a while, it's less shiny. That means the paper is not too wet. Now it is very shiny. Maybe on the camera you cannot see it, but actually, I think when you work on this, you will know. It is shiny or not, the paper. So wait for a little time. So I'm using the brush actually to absorb the water. It will be dry faster. But when I'm painting, I don't use this method, but just for demo, the time is very important. Okay, now so I look at it. It's not too shiny now on the paper surface. So I will try first now. Try. Oh, still wet now. So I wait for just a little more. We'll wait for a little more. So you can see the water is spreading. But actually this is I think it's by experience. You may not be able to do it on the first time, but after several times, you will know when to put on the paint is the best time. And also it depends on the water on the brush. If the brush is too wet, when you put on the paint, it will like adding water on the paper. So when you put on the paint on the paper, make sure that the is not so much water, just the paint. I think it's better now. You can see some definite shape here. So yeah. So every time when I am creating some lights or light focus, I will leave some white space like this one, like a circle here, circle. So I'm keep on using this method. Okay, that's it here. Oh, never mind. So you can see that when I'm adding the other stroke, it will create the other like a definite shape here. So this is already blended together. So, but when I put another stroke, it will create another edges here. So this is the method I'm using, just repeatedly so that you can form a light area here. If it is too light, you can just wipe it very softly. So you can see this is soft, like a soft bouquet now. Like this. Try to, every time it's like covering it. So every time you cover it, it will add some more paint on it, and they will have different stage of the line, different stage of the paint. So it comes to a shape here, like a light here. Also here, it's too light here, maybe I can see. Or some you can just leave it white, also more brighter on the background. Like, because the paper is still wet, you can work on it. So I say you have to finish in one go. If it is dry, you cannot do this anymore. If I gonna sometimes I gonna put another color on it, it will create different layers on it. You will have find some different effects. Now this is I put another, add another moon glow on it. So you will see this is a light here on the background. This paper is different from that what I did just now, and you can see it's more soft than the rough surface paper. Okay. So here's now how I make the background, those bouquets, lights and shadow in between. It's like that. So usually I work on this maybe 3 or 4 layers until you find it's very rich with many edges inside, many lines here inside, but this is still soft, you know, it's very soft. Maybe you can add deeper color, okay, they're more prominent. Sometimes here is more deeper and gonna fade out. Here is more lighter. That. So this is what the main key to how I create those background. And I think some of you might want to know, because some of my painting, you can see many circular shape bouquet here. Actually, how to do that? Except I'm doing like this, actually I can turn more like a circle. You can see it's more rounded, because here is still wet. It soften the edges. You can see this is more natural out, right? And besides using this method, I think the more interesting part is the lifting method of the paint. Sometimes I use another brush to lift the color so that it creates a more brighter part. I will talk about it later, but I think this one is a very basic knowledge to create. If you manage to do this, you will create a very good background already.